Hello, ma'am, and hello, everyone. Welcome to my presentation. Thank you so much for coming to this video. So everyone, from this video, I would like to do a presentation about a material. But before I go on to my presentation, let me introduce myself first. Everyone, as you can see that this is actually my identity. My name is Regina Miranda Damayanti, and all of you can call me Regina. I am a student from Ganesha University of Education. And here you can also see my student's ID, which are 201, 202, 1040. And my absent is number 10. And the last one is my class. I am from 3B class. All right, I think that's all about my self-introduction. Now let's move on to the next slide. Everyone, here I would like to presenting to you about a teaching learning activity or strategy that is about a narrating learning activity or strategy that will be focusing in the conversation. Then the next one here, you can see that I provide you with a table of contents, which covered about several information that I will explain on this presentation. First, I will talk about the skills, which will cover mostly about what skills that are being taught by this activity. And the second one is the scope. This scope covered the information in details about the strategy itself. Then the third one is the implementation of this strategy, which will cover about some information about step by step of the implementation of the strategy, as well as the tools and learning media that will be needed when you implement this kind of strategy. And the fourth one, which is the last one, I will tell you about the strengths and also the weakness about this strategy. So without any further ado, let's talk about the first contents, that is about the skills. So ladies and gentlemen, if you implement this kind of strategy, you may reach the integrated skills. Integrated skills here is defined as the combination of two or more skills within a communicative task. When you use or implement this narrating learning activity or strategy, you may reach the from four languages in learning, that is writing skill and also the speaking skill. So now here we go. This is actually the scope that will cover about some information. First, the question is that what levels of grade this strategy is appropriate for? The answer is that this strategy is appropriate for the senior high school students, especially for those of the students who are in the 11th grade. Then the second one is here, the cooperative learning as the theory, which I use in implementing this kind of strategy. So narrating is actually one of the strategy that you may use when you choose the cooperative learning theory. And here, the English material that will be covered by this strategy is about the narrative text. So the students here will learn about what is the definition about narrative text, and then type of narrative text, which consists of fable and personal experiences and any other type of narrative text, as well as language features about the narrative text itself. That is all about the scope. So now here we go is the implementation of this strategy. So when you use the cooperative learning theory, you may implement this kind of steps. First is the pre-activity or the introduction steps. Here on this step, the teacher or I as the teacher here will give the students by greeting them first, then doing pray together, and then asking them about their prior knowledge skills, and giving them know about the learning objectives of this learning in the classroom, and then also tell them about the outline of the material, but that is not really specific material. And the last one is that give them know about the scope of the assessment. And the second step is that the main activity. Here, I, as the teacher, will dividing them into some groups. As here, we use the cooperative learning theory, right? And we also explaining about the material in details and giving the students tasks by implementing this kind of strategy. And the last one is the post activity, which is the closing activity. Here, I, as the teacher, will giving them feedback about their performance and ensure the students' knowledge, then giving them about the summary about the material, and then giving the students homework, then telling the next material that will be covered in the next meeting, and finally do pray together, and we close the class by greetings together. That's all about implementation. Now is about the tools or the learning media that will be needed if you may implement this kind of strategy. Here I use the learning video. You may search from YouTube and any other sources. And also we need a laptop and LCD projector and also speaker. And the last one is the worksheet. Worksheet here is needed by the students to give the correction or the kind of assessment to their other groups. And the last one is that the strengths and the weakness of this strategy. Everyone, here is the strengths about this strategy. That is about the narrating learning strategy. First, it helps students in expressing their ideas and creativity. The second one, it improves their public speaking skill. And the third one, it encourages students improving their self-confidence. And it also helps students to academically participate in their social environment since we implement the cooperative learning theory. And that is not only about the strengths, but here I also would like to give you know about the weakness of the strategy. The first one, sometimes students probably difficult in expressing their ideas because of the lack vocabulary. And the third one, the second one, because of that lack of vocabulary, they may also cause the students being stuck in writing or performing the conversation itself. Then the third one, students probably feel not comfortable with the other members of their own group because the teacher were the person who divided them into some groups. And the students will probably have a different perspective in their own group, which may cause a conflict in that groups. And finally, it also take a long time to make a narrative text. So that is all about the strengths and the weakness of this strategy. And I hope that when you implement this kind of strategy, I suggest you for all of you who wants to be the English teacher, in order to be a good English teacher, when you implement this kind of strategy, please divide your students well based on their ability so that the cooperative learning will become better. All right, I think that's all about now about this presentation. Thank you very much for coming to this presentation. And after you watch this video, I hope that all of you may become a good English teacher and certainly may implement this strategy well. And please try to implement this kind of strategy by using the comparison between the strength and also the weakness of this strategy. All right, thank you so much for coming to this presentation. I do apologize if I did any mistakes during this presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you. Goodbye.